Hold on to your butts, folks. We're in for a mystery review of 30 years in the making. How y'all doing, everybody? Welcome back to Orange Hat Reviews. As Vanya put it, indeed, hold on to your butts. That's actually what I was planning on saying at the beginning of this stream. So how is everybody doing? We got Vanya, we got Neozoic, paleontology facts. Excellent. And so, yeah, welcome back to Mystery Reviews. All the mystery reviews in the month of July are going to be 90s movies. And so, yeah, this one, 30 years old, Jeff Goldblum, Samuel L. Jackson, were the hints. I'm not aware of many movies in 1993 with Jeff Goldblum and Samuel L. Jackson in the same movie. But definitely, the last mystery review last week, which was July 4th, it was very obvious. It was Independence Day. And I'll give you guys the hints at the end of this one for next week's. But while we're at it, let's get into A and B Geeks, good to see you. It's not that one. But yeah, let's get into the mystery review. 1993, Steven Spielberg. Wow, I'm off today. Released Jurassic Park, based on the novel by Michael Crichton. Loosely based off. Starring Sam Neill, Laura Dern, Richard Attenborough, Jeff Goldblum, Samuel L. Jackson, B.D. Wong, Ariana Richards, Joseph Mazzello, and Wayne Knight. The beginning of this film, folks, I remember watching this movie in theaters, thinking, oh my God, there's a dinosaur that's going to come through the trees. Nope. It's this weird mechanical thing that comes through the trees. As a kid, I was expecting to see a dinosaur right off. Wasn't disappointed because they did show the dinosaur, which was the Velociraptor. However, fun thing to point out, folks, Velociraptors are not as big as they are in Jurassic Park or Jurassic World, for that matter. Velociraptors are only 3 feet tall at most. Now, the actual animal that that the raptors were based off of were known as Deinonychus. And they were of the size that these things were from. Plus, you also have Utah raptors, which are another species of raptor, but slightly bigger. And boy, are those suckers really vicious, or were considered vicious, based on what we learned of them over the years. So, yes, before we get to that, look at the description of the stream. Go down to the description just below the screen and you'll see it. So, Neozoic, both paleo and fun fact, JP velociraptors are modeled closely related to Deinonychus, both the appearance and size. And the location found, Montana, exactly. They actually did find a Deinonychus in Montana. I do believe when they were shooting the whole thing, they had that set up. And they used the Deinonychus's bones instead of an actual velociraptor, which was very much smaller. So, yeah. So this machine comes in, and they have this thing secured, folks, just to let you know. They have the thing secured. They got a loading team step away, and then they have the gatekeeper, Joffrey Rise the Gate. You got Muldoon as the gamekeeper with a loaded shotgun ready to blast this freaking raptor into paste, which they should have done. However, the raptor ends up killing a person. The gatekeeper gets knocked down, dragged in, and the velociraptor was ripping into him. I mean, it's a great suspenseful scene, folks. This movie does a great job at selling the horror. I mean, you got the excitement. You see the raptor take off in the gate and just slam into the door and whatnot. It's just, it pushes back the container to allow it to have a little bit of unrestrained access, you know. The reason it was called the Velociraptor because Crichton, the author, thought the name was more dramatic than Deinonychus. Yeah, Neozoic. Or thank God for Neozoic, folks, because if there is a novel stuff to know, or if there's, or if whatever I'm doing is compared to novels and stuff, I wouldn't know. I've never read the Jurassic Park novel. I've got like half a couple pages into it, and that was it. It didn't interest me. But then again, at the time, I was only freaking 12 years old. So yeah, it really just didn't interest me. But so we end up losing the guy, and the next scene is the lawyer going down into the Dominican Republic, and Gennaro, his name is, and he's meeting Juanito, who is discussing the lawsuit, or they're discussing the lawsuit of a dead work or of the dead worker, and that there needs to be an inspection of the park. And Hammond didn't show up because his daughter's getting a divorce. Well, that would explain why the kids show up, because they don't want the kids anywhere near the divorce proceedings, because that stuff can be traumatic on kids. Believe me, I know. So yeah, they end up in an amber mine, and they're talking about the dead worker and an inspection of the park, and they find a mosquito in amber, which is exactly what Hammond is looking for to fund his, or to basically get dinosaur DNA. Well, when I was watching this movie, there was actually a science project when we did, or when I went into the, or when I was in 7th grade. We had to watch this movie and pay close attention to any things we learned about in high school at the time, like cellular mitosis and other different things that they talked about. We learned about a little bit of that when I was in 7th grade. So we had to do like a kind of book report while watching the movie. And it was a great movie. I loved Jurassic Park. And I think it got like a C on the report, because, well, yeah. And yes, we have a Deinonychus look right here. And just looking at that thing, you'll definitely know that it looks very much like the Velociraptors in the movie. So I believe this mosquito in amber is actually the same one that, or is close to one that Hammond uses as a cane. I want to get that goddamn cane. However, they don't have a replica of that cane, so the best you could do is getting a little amber paperweight with the mosquito inside. Oh, I would love to have that cane, because I'm a caneophile, folks. I love canes, you know. But yeah, so a lawyer, or so then we go to Montana, because they're talking about Grant wanting to be needing to be recruited to sign off on the island, and we see that, or we get the introduction to Grant and Ellie. I hate computers. Oh, the feeling's mutual, and I'm sorry for any noise in the background, folks. It can't be avoided. So we have Ellie and Grant learning that they're doing what's known as shotgun blasting, the sound vibrations into the ground, so that they don't have to dig for dinosaurs anymore. And that's old school stuff that they were doing. I mean, considering this was back in 92, 93 when they were filming. And this movie bounces the image back, and it's a Velociraptor. And I love the kid, man. That doesn't look very scary. More like a 6-foot turkey. Also, I do believe 6-foot turkey was also a hint in the description of this stream. So, and here the Velociraptor actually looks like, yeah, it's more feathery and whatnot. I can only highlight the comments, folks. I can't copy and paste, sadly. So, Alan decides to or Alan Grant decides to scare the hell out of this kid. And I absolutely love the scene because this is the kid, for if you guys don't know, he played the son of what's her name in the Freddy Krueger film, where this kid basically destroys Freddy. And I believe I've seen him in a couple other things too. But yeah, that's where I've seen him before that I can think of off the top of my head. And he's like, now you keep still because you think its visual acuities are based on movement, like T-Rex. But no, not Velociraptor. You stare at it, and it stares right back at you. And that's when the attack comes. Not from the front, but from the sides. And the other two raptors, you didn't even know were there. And they're pack hunters, you see, and they're out to enforce the day. And then he pulls out the claw, which the kid is like, Jesus. I mean, the reaction of the kid, his wide eyes of sheer terror, and he's like, no, he's not gonna bite your jugular. He's not like a lion. No, he slashes at you here, or maybe across the belly, spilling your intestines. Not the son in New Nightmare, no. It was the son in the connection of the movies, Dream Master, I believe it was. Or Dream Warriors, or one of the ones that take place after that one. But anyway, with the pregnant woman whose kid kills Freddy. And it's like, or the point is, you're alive when they start to eat you, so try to show a little bit of respect. Okay. And it's like, what the hell, man? That kid's parents could sue your ass. That kid's going to need therapy forever. Thoughts on the fan theory that the kid is the young Vic Hoskins from Jurassic World? Vic Hoskins. 20. Vince D'Onofrio's character? Hell no. Hell no. No. If you're talking about Vince D'Onofrio's character, 20 years no. Or 30 years maybe. No. Hold on one second, folks. Yeah. Sorry about that, folks. I have a weird delay on my computer for some weird reason, and it's kind of ticking me off. So I love Ellie because Ellie and Grant are in they're in a relationship in this one, and when they you get the idea that they're in a relationship, and it doesn't work out, obviously, because later on she gets married, has a kid, because he doesn't want kids, although he's getting used to the idea of kids by the end of this movie. But it's like, you want to have one of those? I don't want that kid, but a breed of a child, whatnot. Sam Elliott, he's like, well, they're messy, they're expensive, they're loud, they're noisy, they smell. They do not smell. Some of them smell. Baby smell. I just love that. And then Hammond comes in. Now, some people might ask, why are they freaking out? Well, it's because of the sand, and its abrasive nature can actually screw up the skeletal or the intact skeleton that could earn them quite a few bucks. You want a fully intact and unabrased skeleton to get you a little bit more funding, you know? And so we get the introduction to John Hammond, who is so freaking ritually eccentric. It's like, what the hell are you doing in here? He just turns around, pops the cork. Hey, we were saving that for today. I guarantee it. Jacob from Dreamchild. Yes, Dreamchild. That's it. Yeah. Jacob Daniel. Yeah. So Sorry, Neozoic. That fan theory, that's Hoskins. I'm just not buying it. Not at all, man. D'Onofrio is in his 50s, I believe. How old is Vince D'Onofrio? How old is Vince D'Onofrio? He's 64 years old. So 8 years ago, he was in his 50s. So there is no chance that is a young Hoskins. There's no chance. No. Am I coming through all right, folks? It seems that I'm having a little bit of a problem. I'm guessing whenever I switch over to a different screen, it goes black or it freezes. Yeah, kind of like that. I just saw it happen to me. Well, I guess we are going to get rid of the other window that I have on. Okay, that's weird. 2 comments just showed up, but they didn't show up. Hold on for a minute, folks. I'm going to have to dip out and come back because there is some weird stuff. All of the comments just went blank, which is weird. Okay, there we go. Yeah, 1959. Sorry. I know you didn't, Neozoic. It's some weird stuff's going on this computer right now. Okay, folks, I'm going to have to reset my laptop. I am very sorry for this, but don't go anywhere. I will be right back. I just need to reset my Chromebook. It shouldn't take more than a few seconds. But yeah, I will be right back. So just please be patient. Okay, am I back? All right, am I back? Yeah, it's still having a problem. I think I know what needs to be done. Ugh. I hate that I have these issues, folks, but seems that it's just got to get done. Not that. Might have to clear the cache. Clear the cache. And if this kicks me out, I'm sorry. So hopefully it'll come back. Oh my God, man. And it's okay, Davian. It happens. I'm just having a lot of problems. So hold on. Believe me, this problem will be fixed. I mean, this is just beyond freaking site settings. I don't want site settings done. Store. Okay. Am I still here? Okay, I think I'm still here. Okay, good. Hasn't kicked me out yet? That's good. Jeez, I'm sorry for the lag, folks. Is there still a lag? Let me know if there's still a lag. There shouldn't have that problem now. Life finds a way. Hey, Christian, good to see you. Sorry about that. Am I coming in good this time now? Has everything coming in well? Alrighty. Well, let me see here. Let's see here. Okay. Sounds like, or it feels like I'm coming in good. RPR is where the raptor grasps with the foot, claws digging in with its sickle claw, tight hanging onto the prey, and struggles with the thousands. Picture and sound is great. Now, thank you so much, Davian. Thank you so much. So now, let's get back into this. Let's get back to the review. So the proposal is made to Ellie and Grant that Hammond, for their help, will fund the dig for 30 or for a further 3 years, because they're kind of scraping up funds, just trying to get funds for their digs. And well, I remember this movie was re-released. This movie in 3D. That would be weird. I remember 20 years ago, or 10 years after, 20 years ago, they did the 10-year anniversary on TV, and then 20 years they did the same thing. It was pretty cool. While it's still alive until it dies in blood loss. Oh, you're talking about the dromaeosaur. Sorry. It's better to go for what? Come on now. Highlight, you stupid thing. There we go. Paleo fact: Dromaeosaurus' velociraptors, Deinonychus raptor, used a technique that is similar to birds of prey called raptor prey restraint. Raptor prey restraint is where the raptor gets or grasps with its foot claws, digging in with the sickle claw, tightly hanging onto the prey as it struggles and thrashes around. The raptor begins to feed on it while it is still alive, until it dies from blood loss or organ failure, all the while standing on top of the animal to pin it down and using primitive flight strokes with its wing to maintain balance. Yeah, Interesting how they feed, isn't it, folks? And yes, this is Jurassic Park, Davian. Again, sorry for the technical difficulties earlier, folks. Just, it's been a while since I actually had to clear the cache and the browsing data and all that shit. So, yeah, that's my B. Anyway, getting back to it, we get the agreement to check out the park, and then we're introduced to Nedry and Dodgson. And this is such a freaking meme now, folks. Dodgson, we got Dodgson here. You see, nobody cares. I mean, that is used for such a meme where Disney's like, or where people want to use it to throw shade and whatnot. It is such a great scene. And Wayne Knight, his excitement is a bit overacted in the scene, where he's basically squealing with excitement with this cooling unit that he's being given that looks like a shaving cream bottle or a shaving cream canister. And it's like, they could check it if they want, or the coolant is good for 36 hours, and they have to be, or the embryos have to, or he's basically being recruited to basically espionage or do espionage, corporate espionage. And it's because Hammond didn't pay him enough money to cover all of his debts. So he's like, don't get cheap on me, Dawson. That was Hammond's mistake. And I caught that 30 years later when I'm watching this film, and I'm thinking to myself, why does this guy have a beef with Hammond? And, you know, when you're younger, you don't think about these things. Well, apparently this dude racked up some debt, you know? And Hammond's like, I'm not going to pay your debts for you, dude. You're going to have to pay those off yourself, you know? I mean, you're good, spared no expense on you, but I'm not overpaying you because you fucked yourself over, you know? So, yeah. We then get the introduction to Malcolm and the chopper ride and the swell of music, man. Jeff Goldblum is so over the top in this film. He's basically an environmentalist, and he doesn't like the idea of genetic splicing and genetic engineering bringing things back to life. How would you compare Jurassic Park with other Spielberg's films such as E.T., Jaws, Indiana Jones Trilogy, Saving Private Ryan, Schindler's List? Spielberg has a gift. He has a gift of telling a good story. He has a gift of being very visual with his stories, but also selling it when you can't do visual storytelling like he did in Jaws. You had to wait until the shark was finally freaking working until he was able to show the damn thing. Saving Private Ryan, he sold the gore factor really well to let you know that war isn't pretty. Indiana Jones, Raiders of the Lost Ark was the most pointless film I had ever seen. Temple of Doom was the most annoying. Last Crusade is God tier. Schindler's List, I have not seen Schindler's List, to be completely honest. I've always mistaken Schindler's List with Shawshank Redemption, and I finally saw Shawshank Redemption. But E.T., also a great movie. There are so many fan theories out there with Star Wars and with Earth finally being connected with Star Wars because E.T. is in both Episode 1 and E.T. So, yeah. When they don't realize that it's just a freaking cameo, folks. But anyway, Steven Spielberg, he does have a gift. During the 80s and 90s, or 70s, 80s, and 90s, he was top tier movie making material. He was the person, other than George Lucas, to go to make great big budget films. Later years, he kind of fell off the wagon. I think Empire of the Sun is an excellent, underrated Spielberg war film. I have not seen Empire of the Sun. I'll have to eventually sometime maybe check it out. So the chopper ride in where they have to descend because of wind shear, I love how Alan is just so mechanically inept. He takes two freaking seatbelts and ties them together. And Hammond's like, well, it landed by the time you get it right. So it's like, fuck that, I'll just tie it off, you know? Well, I heard that Schindler's List is dull because it's like, what, 3.5 hours long? You got to have patience for long films, but you also got to have a compelling story to keep the pace going, you know? So, the music that John Williams does for this film is just perfectly fitting to the different moments in the film. However, when they're all going up the stairs and going into the visitor center, and the music almost sounds like almost like Imperial Marchish. It's like, what are you guys here to take it down or something? Like, what the hell is this music? There was a little. This is the one that I'm most critical of. John Williams does great scores. Do not get me wrong. He did a great job with Jaws. He did a great job with Star Wars. He does a great job with a lot of other things that he has done. Jurassic Park, great moments here, or great pieces here and there. However, a couple of pieces here and there just didn't really fit the scene, in my opinion. You know, it doesn't really, or the march up to the visitor center and the approach to the visitor center, I'm like, no, this doesn't really match well with the music, because the way that this is, it's like, are you guys about to like go in and just totally wreck the shit out of this place? That's kind of what I got from that piece of the score. Controversially, I've never liked Raiders, but love Temple of Doom, Last Crusade, and Crystal Skull. Hey man, if you like Crystal Skull, that's fine. Me, I've seen it twice, 3 times. I just couldn't get into it. I will absolutely never watch Dial of Destiny because reasons. But yeah, in this, they get into the nice little animatronics, or not animatronics, but ride that they kind of have. I remember the swing rides that they had, like at Disney World, where they show different things as you're going through. And you learn that they interrupt cellular mitosis using Mr. DNA, or DNA kind of explains the whole dinosaur creating thing. And they actually do a good job with it, you know? They actually tell you, or because when you're learning in 7th grade about the building blocks of life and words like cellular mitosis and unfertilization, defertilization, and interrupted fertilization, you learn all sorts of stuff, or you hold on to some of that stuff, you know? And I like all Indiana Jones films, yes, even Crystal Skull, despite its flaws, except for Dial of Destiny. Hey man, like I said, I think that Crystal Skull has some good moments. However, it has some bad moments, like throwing a snake at Indiana Jones, and using a snake as rope. Not buying it. I'm sorry, I'm just not buying it. Where was his whip? Last Crusade, like I said, Last Crusade is top tier. And Raiders of the Lost Ark was completely pointless. As much as I do not like Big Bang Theory got it right. Or you could take Indiana Jones out. They would get the pendant. They would eventually find the right place to dig because they got the pendant. They would get the Ark. They would die. Indiana Jones only did it, or was only in there to basically play action hero and to delay them a little bit. That's basically all his purpose was in that film. Where in The Last Crusade, there was actually stakes, and, yeah, they actually needed Jones in there to actually find the rest of the stuff. I have no interest in watching. Yeah. I'm sorry, but Phoebe Waller-Bridge is what killed it for me. But continuing on, they end up busting out of the freaking ride, like literally breaking the ride just so that they could get out. And the lawyer's like, "You can't do that." Can they do that? And so you get the or the dinner. And I love the dialogue in the dinner scene. I'm jumping forward, aren't I? Yeah, I'm jumping forward. They get to the lab and they learn about the raptors, or they see the raptor hatch and whatnot, and you get B.D. Wong playing Lenny Wu, who you don't see for another 2 movies until Jurassic World. Hey, Junebug, good to see you. And you also have the scene where, crap, I forgot about the introduction to the dinosaur. You see, that's why I have talking points, and I'm barely looking at them right now. I'm just totally off my game today, folks, and I'm very sorry for that. Probably going to get a couple of dislikes because of it. But, yeah. The Brachiosaur and the Parasaurs that a lot of people didn't notice when they showed the wide shot of the herds was actually pretty cool. A lot of people don't realize that that's a Parasaurolophus, which the Pompadour, Elvis, or whatever they called it. No, that's not the same thing. But the music for showing the Brachiosaur, that was full. The Brachiosaurus, that was quite well done. It's the soft music building up with the Brachiosaur that is truly award worthy. And I gotta say, yeah, it's good. Didn't take your powder chart. Paleo facts. Brachiosaurus appearance is actually based in its African cousin from Tanzania, Giraffatitan, due to the Brachiosaurus fossil being uncompleted. Yeah. It's okay to admit if you didn't take your powdered sugar. Dude, Junebug, if you haven't seen it yet, I have a short that is labeled seriously with exclamation points. Check that out. Check it out. You will definitely get yourself a good laugh out of it. Speaking of powdered sugar, but it's actually flour in that scene or in that short. But that's all I'm going to say on that. But I really do like the Brachiosaur scene because it is truly beautiful. And also you have Malcolm. He's like, "You son of a bitch," or "You did it. You craziest son of a bitch. You did it." Now I actually watched this with captions, closed captions. You want to know what the closed captions said or translated Malcolm as into saying? "You're dead. You crazy son of a bitch, you're dead." That's what the captions say for this movie on Vudu. I'm hoping they will eventually fix that because holy crap, that it's like, "You're dead. You crazy son of a bitch, you're dead." It's like, what the hell are you threatening him for? You know? I mean, you see the dinosaur, you get the nice shake of the camera when it comes back down on the 4 legs after standing on its hinds. And that comes to play out later, which is really sad because the later scene in Jurassic World Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom is really sad because lava is killing this thing and it didn't jump in the water to save itself. So, yeah, the Brachiosaurus scenes are truly magical in this movie, especially the one where it sneezes all over Lexi. And I think that they did a great job with that scene. We're gonna make a fortune with this place. No, you're not. Hey, Dadman Walking, how you doing, buddy? Thank you for stopping in, dude. Thank you for stopping in. I did see it. Oh, you did. All right, great, man. Glad you liked it. I mean, a friend of mine were just talking, and it's like I just suddenly got inspired. I gotta go. I gotta make a short, and so I just whipped that short up in like 5 minutes. And I'm like, there you go, man. Because if you know anything about how to create a short on YouTube, folks, they have their own cutting that you can like pause, do your thing, cut, do your thing. I'm going to be doing a lot more of those kind of specific topic shorts later or until they're absolutely no longer relevant. Let's just say that. But anyway, the mention of the T-Rex, it's like, we clocked the T-Rex at 32 miles an hour. T-Rex? You got a T-Rex? Yeah. Say again? We have a T-Rex. It's like, what the frig? So, yes, there's no unauthorized breeding in Jurassic Park. They engineered the dinosaurs to be female by controlling the chromosomes, and we get the life finds a way line. So then we get to the raptor pen and feeding them a cow. And I love how you don't see the raptors in this film, because if you're seeing them, it takes away from the imagination of what they're doing. You see that they're hungry, a steer's being brought in, then you hear the noise, and it's just, you hear the kind of just ripping sounds and growling sounds, and it's just so visceral. And then you get Robert Muldoon, they should all be destroyed, and he's explains how intelligent they are. Do they have intelligence? Like, he's like, extreme intelligence, problem-solving intelligence, you know? Although Brachiosauruses couldn't rear up very well due to top-heavy build. Yeah. Hold on one second. Mr. Brownstone, yeah. So, I love that. It's like, after they bring up the broken freaking control thing for the cow that was holding the cow in, and I'm thinking to myself, holy crap, man. And you see John, he's like, well, who's hungry? And so you get the Chilean sea bass scene, and you learn that these things are lethal at 8, or the raptors are lethal at 8 months. They have cheetah speed. They're extremely intelligent. The big female from the beginning of the movie killed off all but 2 of the last pack. So yeah, that female is one mean bitch. And she did it simply to establish dominance. You kill off most of the pack, and then the other 2 will fall in line, which they did. The lawyer wants expensive tickets and stuff, and he's like, we'll charge like $50,000 or $20,000, $50,000, and people will pay it if they want to see these things. And Hammond's like, we're not catering this thing to the super rich. We want everybody in the world should have the ability to see these animals. And he's like, okay, well then I guess we'll have a coupon day. And well, you then get Malcolm, and he explains that you didn't do anything or it's okay, Damien. I know you got to go. You usually have to go around this time. Thank you so much for stopping in, dude. And yep, catch it afterward. Well, have a good one. I would bring up facts from the novel, changes, differences, but I don't want to spoil any potential readers. Hey, dude, do what you gotta. And yes, it is truly a great movie. And two of the best lines that Malcolm has in this movie, or in this scene rather, because he has all the best lines. But 2 of his best scenes in this, or best lines in this, is, your scientists were so preoccupied on whether or not that they didn't stop to think if they should. And he makes the moral argument against de-extinction. You are bringing animals or dinosaurs went extinct for a reason, you know? And he's like, what you call progress, I call the rape of the natural world. Or discovery, I call the rape of the natural world. And he does raise a good point. I mean, you see him mullet here and all that stuff, and then you see him later on, we are entering a new era, welcome to the world, or these movies should be called Malcolm Was Right. I'm just simply saying, folks. Because, sure, you could bring in all these crazy attractions of all these dinosaurs, but then you got chaos theory is in complete control here. He is a chaotician, after all. So then we get the grandkids, Lexi and Tim. Joseph Mazzello, dude. Last movie I saw Joseph Mazzello in was Bohemian Rhapsody. And I gotta say, it's like, wait, that's the kid from Jurassic Park? When I saw that, it's like, why does this guy look just so familiar? So I looked up his thing. It's like, he played Tim in Jurassic Park. I'm like, what the actual fuck? Because when you're just thinking about movies and stuff, you think, holy crap, whatever happened to that kid that was from Jurassic Park? Well, he grew up, you don't think about that sometimes, but yeah. And then you see these kids are immediately taken in with Dr. Grant, and Lexi does the nice little fall to hold his hand and whatnot. It's great. And Ellie wants the kids to try to warm up to Grant, and Grant try to warm up to them, and he's just not having it, dude. He's just really not having it. Samuel L. Jackson is introduced in the scene with the electric cars. Now, folks, these are electric cars that run along the track. They're completely automated. They're ahead of their time because now I am honestly wondering if Elon Musk got the idea from an electric car from Jurassic Park. I'm actually going to try to tag him later and ask that. Or if somebody wants to clip this and who has a lot more subs or followers on there, try to get his attention. Because honestly, I would love to know, because a lot of this stuff are the electric car thing, and now today we have electric cars and whatnot. I'm wondering if he actually got the idea from Jurassic Park. I don't know, but it would be an interesting thing to find out. I miss Michael Crichton, though, an amazing author. I hear he actually did do great work. So the headlights are like number 151 glitches so far on today's glitch list, and they have to debug the headlights. Richard Kiley is the narrator. We get the gate, which is, I love freaking Jeff Goldblum. What do they got in there? King Kong. How much would you compare Sam Neill's role with other roles like Mouth of Madness, Hunt for Red October, Event Horizon? I've seen him in Merlin. I've seen him in Daybreakers and Jurassic Park, or the Jurassic Park roles. Sam Neill actually is a terrific actor. I also saw him in Bicentennial Man. He is a terrific actor. Sam Neill, he has a gift for truly delving into the mind of a character that he does. And I think that he does it very well. I mean, he could play a very good villain. He could play a freaking wizard that is so great. And he can play a freaking archaeologist very well. I mean, he does a great job in all of the roles that I've seen him in. So, yeah, he does a great job with it. So, we get introduced to the Dilophosauruses. Well, a silent introduction to them because there are no shows. And they explain how these things spit venom from the frills of their necks at the prey. And I'm thinking to myself, acid spitting dinosaurs. What is this, from Alien? It's like Ridley, James Cameron, this dude's fucking ripping your shit off, but putting it on dinosaurs, However, in real life, Dilophosauruses do not have the ability, or they don't have the frill. That sounds like a rattlesnake. They don't have the venom spitting bullshit that they have in this movie. So, it works for the movies, folks, but real life, they don't have them. His crowning achievement is In a State of Fear, an amazing book that was relevant in today's society. Highly recommended book. If I ever do get back to reading books again, I will definitely look for it. I mean, I'm trying to get through Tolkien again before the year's out. But Dennis, or we then get to the whole argument with Dennis Nedry, and where he has to debug the headlights and stuff, and he's like, I'll bring it back when they're coming back. Kurt Russell was the number one choice for Dr. Grant, but Steven Spielberg did have Sam Neill in mind because he auditioned for Indiana Jones, and Spielberg remembered him. Huh. That's interesting. That's very interesting. Holy crap. But yeah. We then get to the T-Rex pen, and they're going to try to tempt the T-Rex with a goat. Doesn't work. T-Rex is like, yeah, fuck you, I want to hunt. And Grant has a great instinct. It's like T-Rex doesn't want to be fed and wants to hunt. You can't just suppress 65 million years of gut instinct, you know? So it's a great point there. So the tour or we then see them going along with the Triceratops scene, sick Triceratops, wondering how it's getting poisoned. I had to look it up, folks. This is one of the things that they don't really explain. How or why did the Triceratops get sick? They thought it was because it was eating the toxic plants. That's not it. We learn in the film they don't eat them. So what was making this Triceratops sick? Well, it turns out it was eating rocks to help grind down the digestive system that was near the West Indian lilac, which is the toxic plant. And it turns out that the poison from, or the toxins from the plants were getting into the, or were getting on the rocks. And that is what made the Triceratops sick every 6 weeks, because the digestive system is slow for a Triceratops, where it has to feed on new rocks every 6 weeks to get new digestive method for its stomach. Also, Stephen Gutenberg, Bruce Campbell, Michael J. Fox were some of the choices for Dr. Malcolm. Bruce Campbell. I'm watching Burn Notice I'm getting back into Burn Notice. Bruce Campbell, man. I honestly think that Bruce Campbell could have made it, or could have done a good Ian Malcolm. Ian Malcolm, or Jeff Goldblum, really does embody Ian Malcolm, but I really think if they did end up going with another person, Bruce Campbell would have been the perfect choice. Fully admit. Which Jurassic Park World movie would you say is second best? Jurassic Park, Lost World. Two best Jurassic Park movies, period. Hands down. A lot of people love to give Jurassic World or Lost World a lot of shit. I actually thought it was very well done. To be completely honest, I thought it was very well done. So, yeah. When it comes to the Jurassic World movies, I think the first one is the best one. The first one is the best one. I mean, I absolutely love the first Jurassic World movie. Second one was okay. The third one was meh. Screwed up a lot with the digital and mix of stop motion animation with the raptors. Bruce Campbell definitely would have probably had a bigger career if he got Dr. Malcolm. You're damn right he would have. I mean, I've only seen one, or he is great in the Evil Dead movies. I've watched the Evil Dead movies. I love the Evil Dead movies. Haven't seen them in a few years, but I'm gonna eventually try to find them again. But Bruce Campbell is so freaking great in everything he does because he's so freaking funny. I mean, I absolutely love him in Burn Notice. Like, spies, what a bunch of bitchy little girls. It's like, holy crap, dude. And he says that to his friend who was a spy, you know? So, a storm is coming in. We learn about a tropical storm that's moving in. It hasn't changed course, so they're going to have to abandon the thing. We also get the lovely line by Malcolm, who is just walking up to this humongous mound of shit from the Triceratops. And it's like, that is one big pile of shit. I mean, that is also, folks, that is also one of the best memes I've ever seen out there. I mean, I'm actually going to make up my own GIF for that, because for KJP, Corinne Jean-Pierre, her lies are just constant bullshit anyway. So I am actually going to have to turn that into a GIF myself and basically attribute it to Corinne Jean-Pierre. Because that woman just doesn't know how to stop lying. Anywho, I will be doing that at the end of the scene, or at the end of the stream, along with getting some food. But anyway, So the tour stops next to, or Nedry uses the tropical storm as cover, and also explains that some systems are going to go offline while things are debugging, and he fixed the phones, so the phones aren't having a problem. But then he goes to steal the embryos, and he gets all of them, and he escapes, and he needs the boat to wait for 15 minutes. However, it's like, no promises, man. You were supposed to be, or we got to go, you know? Dennis Nedry would never, or he would have made it to the dock, but the boat would have been gone, even if he had survived. And those, apparently there was a video game in which the embryos still survived because they sent people to the island to get the embryos. However, because Nedry didn't make it to sell them on the black market or whatever, and they stop at the T-Rex pen when the power goes out. And I love freaking Grant. He's like, "Hey, what did I touch?" No, you didn't touch anything. We stopped. You know. Really? Sean Connery was even considered for Hammond, along with Clint Eastwood and the Doctor Who actor John Pertwee. No shit. He was considered for Hammond. That's interesting. Richard Attenborough did a best job, though. I think that Richard Attenborough was the perfect John Malcolm, though. So, also rest in peace, Richard Attenborough. He did die, I think within the last 10 or 11 years. I mean, let me check to be completely, when did... Well, he died almost 10 years ago. He died almost a full 9 years ago, August 24th, 2014. But yes, rest in peace, Richard Attenborough. I mean, honestly, as much as I love Sean Connery, no, I cannot see him doing, I can't see him doing Hammond. So we see that the kids are bored out of their minds, and power's out, and frickin' Timmy pulls up the night vision goggles. And, well, we then see the water vibrations. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm watching this movie when I was a kid, folks, and I'm thinking, I'm just expecting this kid to just start freaking out, you know? Like, just scream and then cut. Not what happens. And I love the lawyer. He's like, maybe it's the power or trying to come back on. Nope, that's not what it is. And we get the T-Rex tossing a bloodied goat leg onto their car.
Bye.
Hi.
Bye.
Bye. All right. Bye. And that's my mom, folks. But yeah. Well, I hope his brother makes it. David Attenborough is about 2 years, is going to be 100 years old. Holy crap, man. Hey, Steve, how are you, dude? Good to see you, man. I watched Jurassic Park in the cinema when it came out. Went in blind, no spoilers. It was a great experience. Yes, dude, seriously. That is actually how I went into it myself when I went to see it in theaters. I was 8 years old, scared the fucking hell out of me. Especially the T-Rex sequence, which now I have grown to absolutely love, because honestly, this sequence is hard not to love. This is a perfect blend between CGI and a practical T-Rex. Now, folks, when I say that you know how Jaws, Bruce, the shark, they had a lot of problems with getting Bruce to work. Same with the T-Rex, because this scene is shot in the rain. Guess what happens when you soak the T-Rex skin, over the mechanical mechanical bits to it? Guess what happens if you put too much weight on the mechanics of a T-Rex? Well, you get a T-Rex that doesn't want to work. And yes, we will. I said hi. She's like, bye. It's like, yeah, bye. The goat leg landing on her. Yes, man. It made me jump that day, man. It's like I will remember the day, man. I'm watching. It's like, what happened to the that? She's like, what happened to the goat? Boom. I'm like, duh! I'm literally like, what the? And I'm so glad that my brother had the popcorn because he didn't jump so bad where the popcorn went flying. I would have caused it to go flying. And I'm just so glad I didn't have it that day. Because that scared the hell out of me. So then I like also how they show the T-Rex's hand touching the fence, knowing that the hand is not getting shocked. So it's like, oh, okay. And then you see it chomp up the goat, and then it's like, right. And then you see freaking Gennaro just run and leave the kids, which Lexi is traumatized, by the way. It's like, holy shit. Oh my gosh, is Laura Dern smoking hot in this movie? Swing, swing, swing. Yeah, I will admit Laura Dern was hot in this movie. She's not aged, or she's aged. I won't say like fine wine, but I will say like wine, but not like cheese. Because if she aged like cheese or soured milk, would have been bad. She actually does look pretty damn good 30 years later. I will say. However, I do not like her with purple hair. So, yeah, dude. It's like, where's he think he's going? Well, when you gotta go, you gotta go. So when this thing busts out and frickin' Tim or Lexi frickin' uses the flashlight, it's like, what the fuck are you doing? She's trying to get, a lot of people are like, oh my God, this girl is going to get everybody killed. She's trying to get the adults' attention, folks. She wants the adults to know that she's in there with her brother and she's scared. But in this sort of situation, you can't expect kids to think rationally. So when people actually say, what the hell is this kid doing? She's trying to get the attention of the adults. And I could understand that. I would have done the same fucking thing. I will fully freaking admit that. I would have done the same damn thing. And she realized the error just a little too late because now the freaking T-Rex is kind of like, what was I seeing? That was weird. And then it's seeing all this flashing light and the girl or Tim and Lexi arguing over the light. And I love that how they give that small beat. How they give that really small beat when they stop and look up. And that's when the T-Rex just crashes down in, trying to get to him. It really, that small beat before the T-Rex crashes down, that is what's known as perfect beat. The perfect one beat, boom, scare factor. You gotta, I've seen so many movies, folks, where they have overdone, or where they take the 1 to 2 second beat and they stop, or they do it either too quick or too late, and it really does take the jump out of the scare. Because this one was perfect. Because they're arguing, they look up, 1 second, boom! That's when it freaking hits. And it's these kids are fucking terrified. I mean, they played that so freaking well. These kids looked absolutely scared, out of their minds. And I'm sorry, I would have had total intestinal evacuation if I had this big thing trying to kill me. I would have shit my pants. And it would have been all over the freaking door of the car while I'm trying to hold on for dear life to be away from this thing. Hi, Ruben Thomas. Good to see you. Laura Dern has not aged like a fine wine. She's more aged like a good whiskey. There you go. That works. So T-Rex, paleo fact, T-Rex's eyesight was great. Yes, that is something that is false, folks. The T-Rex's vision is not based on movement. It had binocular range of 55 degrees. T-Rex had a 13 times the visual acuity of a human, and far point as far as 6 kilometers, 3.7 miles away than human, 1.6 miles, or 1.6 kilometers a mile away. So you were one of those who would say Jurassic Park revolutionized CGI, or would you say T2? T2 came out in what, like 91, 92, and takes place in 95. where T-Rex was 93. The CG in James Cameron's movies were good. But when it comes to Jurassic Park, James Cameron revolutionized the CG business. Jurassic Park improved it. Where Jurassic Park actually put so much great texture on the T-Rex that it's like, oh my God, this is actually very good CGI. Yeah, T2 came out in 91. Yeah. So they're working on the CG in 1990. But in 1992, when they were filming and doing the production for Jurassic Park, I'm sorry, the CGI for the T-Rex in the rain sequence with the introduction is top tier. Honestly, out of all the 90s movies, that's the best CGI I have ever seen. And that was in 1993. 30 years ago, you had some of the best CGI in the business in this movie. So then you get freaking Grant coming out, and he pulls out a flare, and he throws the flare, which gets the T-Rex to go after the flare. And Ian comes out and gets the damn thing. It's attention. It's like, dude, it was already leaving. What the fuck is wrong with you? Now, another thing I also don't get. Now, this thing is thrashed only one section of fence. Here is a major question, folks, that I have. When this thing decides to flip the car over the edge and it drops down and whatnot, down a huge spillway, that car, or from what I understand, the fencing, or on the other side of the fence where the T-Rex was before it got out, was flat land. How did it suddenly become a cavern or a chasmous drop? I would like that explained, because I'm thinking to myself, flatland, it was right here with the cars. Car back here, car back here. And this thing starts flipping the car up on the flatland, or where the flatland was. All of a sudden, flatland's gone. It's down here now with a big old tree. And I'm thinking to myself, how? Explain. Can anybody else notice that or explain it to me, please? Because that is a major mess up, production-wise. Because you have this whole gig where it is flat land. I mean, the T-Rex is not 100 feet tall. So how the hell is it sticking its head up to look out and bite the things off? That doesn't make sense. So please explain it to me. James Cameron originally wanted to do this along with Richard Donner. James Cameron wanted to make it like aliens meet dinosaurs. That's hilarious. Why didn't they? Paleo fact, Tyrannosaurus's bite force is about estimated around 8,000 pounds, and juvenile T-Rex could have exerted up to 5,641 newtons of force, which is between the jaws force of a hyena and crocodile. Nice. So yeah, I mean, it's great. Don't get me wrong. The drop down is great for a visual or for a kind of nice little moment to rescue the kids and such. And I also really do like Gennaro's death, because he left those kids. He deserves to fucking die. Also, Steve Spielberg really hates lawyers. I believe every movie that Steven Spielberg has that has a lawyer in it, the lawyer dies. I think. I haven't seen all those movies. But anyway, so yeah. So moving on. let me pull my points up here. Gennaro getting eaten, man. I'm sorry, that was just great. I mean, it's like, you're looking weird. But hey, I wonder if you're edible. Why doesn't James Cameron write a dinosaur movie instead of doing Avatar 3000? He's committed now. He's committed to the Avatar movies. Honestly, I wish he would actually give permission for True Lies to be upgraded to 4K and to be sold digitally, because I would absolutely love to have a digital copy of True Lies. I love that movie. So, yeah, let's just take me in the car over the end. It's gonna burn too much water. Jurassic Park is now out of commission without Dennis Nedry, and I love how Nedry crashes into the thing, and he's like, I'm like, dude, if you're trying to get off a fucking island, I wouldn't care if I wiped out a signpost. I really wouldn't have. I would have just kept on going on. Maybe the T-Rex is levitating. Right? So, yeah, so Nedry then finally crashes his vehicle and needs to get it undone, and he runs into the Dilophosaurus. And I love this. It's like, yeah, all right, I thought you were like one of your brothers. You know, ain't so bad. Brothers, dude, they're all female, first off. Didn't you pay attention? And then it's like, stick, stupid. Fetch the stick, boy. Fetch. It's like, you keep misgendering me. Folks, the sole reason why the Dilophosaurus killed Nedry was because it kept misgendering him. So essentially, the Dilophosaurus is the perfect example of a radical transgender person. Yeah, I said it. No, I mean, there are some nice transgender people out there, don't get me wrong, but those radical freaking crazy ass transgenderists, a Dilophosaurus is a perfect freaking description of him. I mean, this thing is fucking screeches all the time, hates people, fucking throws shit at him, and ends up killing him because, well, how dare you misgender me? Yeah, I fucking went there. I wholly expected my channel to be completely canceled at this point. They fucking can. You know, I'll get a new one. Might take a while to get the fucking subs back up, though. So, Ellie and Muldoon decide to find Malcolm and the other car, or try to go after the kids and whatnot, and they end up finding the other car. Grant and Timmy are gone because Timmy was kind of embarrassed that he threw up and he's stuck in the tree, and that was also a nice little suspenseful moment. Decent blend of CGI there. However, you could totally tell that there was an insert, because how does a top of a car suddenly that was crumpled inward suddenly not hurt Timmy and Alan Grant? Does make one wonder. Paleo facts. Besides the facts you mentioned, don't have frills or spit venom, Dilophosauruses were about 23 feet in length. Also, it's much bigger. Yes. I'm guessing that was a young Dilophosaurus. I could be wrong. However, I do believe that one was a juvenile. So, the search for Ellie and Hammond is like, remind me to thank John for a lovely weekend. I love it, dude. Go ahead. Fucking do it. No, just kidding. But anyway, the finding of the other car, they're gone. And I also do like the hysteria of Lexi in that scene too, because she's still very much traumatized, because an adult is there to help, but she's still hung up on he left us, because it's like an adult, or I'm guessing these kids kind of grew up with a little bit of financial privilege, because how they handled this was not really well. And I love that. It's like, but that's not what I'm going to do. And I've seen her in a couple of other films, not a lot. Shortly after she did, like 6 years after she did Jurassic Park, she was in a Lifetime movie where she played a student that was raped by a teacher. She actually did a good job in that one, where she actually got this teacher to get turned in. So yeah. You better fucking resubscribe, you son of a bitch. I'm joking, dude. According to Spielberg, the reason they made Dilophosaurus smaller because they didn't want it to be confused with the Velociraptor, even though both animals look very yeah. Well, then, if it's that small and whatnot, geez. Although the Dilophosaurus sequence where it spits the venom at Wayne Knight, that is some good cinematography, where he turns around and his face is all full of shit, and it's zooming in and whatnot. That is some great horror cinematography, because it really sells that this dude is fucking scared and being blinded and whatnot. And or the small little humor where he smacks his face on the door like, and then falls back is so freaking great. But the run from the T-Rex chase, from what I remember, there was a lot of problems with this, especially when it hits the tree. They had some, I can't remember, I'm going to have to look it up, but there was a major problem that they had with the T-Rex hitting the tree that they had to go back and fix over and over and over until they finally got it right. And you get the must go faster line, must go faster, which Jeff Goldblum would later use 3 years later in Independence Day. And it's okay for the bad grammar, Neozoic. Everybody has problems every now and then. I know that's what friends do to each other. They fuss about each other's chops. Yeah, they bust each other's chops. Yeah. A lot of people have forgotten that. Exactly, Junebug. But yeah, it's like, do you think they'll have that on a tour? Well, cue Jurassic Park several years later. I think they do have a tour where a T-Rex is chasing your ass. I would love to have that as an actual theme park ride, you know? So, we then get to the Brachio singing in the trees and whatnot, and don't let them call the monsters over here. It's okay, Lex. These are these are brachiosaurs. They're herbivores. They're plant eating. That means they only eat vegetables. But for you, I think they'll make an exception. Timmy, shut up. Well, I hate the other kind. Well, it's like, yeah, I mean, nearly got killed by one. And then the next morning, she wants to pet it and whatnot. And it's like, the thing suddenly has a cold. And it sneezes on her. And I'm thinking to myself, what did they use for the splooge of the mucus for the brachiosaur? Somebody please explain that. What did they use? Because I would love to know what they used, because it's her look after she got sneezed on is pure genius. So let's see here. Then we see the scene between Ellie and Hammond, and where he's like, we will adapt, we will get control again. And Ellie tells him, you never had control. That was the illusion that you had. I was overwhelmed by the power of this place, and I didn't respect it. And we need to focus on what truly matters, the people we love. Alex, Lex, and Tim, they're out there, man, and they're dying. They're out there where people are dying. And your focus is on trying to fix the park so you can get it back up again. You're never going to financially recover from this. I'm sorry, folks. But when John Hammond's park caused the deaths of several people, the lawsuit from the worker was a $20 million lawsuit. So yeah, don't expect getting that park ever opened up again. So we then see Lex is freaking out because she got sneezed on, and Tim's like, she'll never go outside again. She'll just stand in her room and play on her computer. I'm a hacker. That's why I said you're a nerd. I'm not a computer nerd. I prefer to be called a hacker. It's like, oh, so you hacked the Pentagon? I mean, that would be pretty cool if you did. But they then know that Ian's not there, and he sees this clutch of dinosaur eggs where they're breeding. And he's like, amphibian DNA. And he explains that amphibians in a single-sex environment, some can actually change sex from male to female, which completely destroys the entire transgender argument. Because gender and sex are the same thing. Also, Dolores crests look different. Yep. Here's the link to that, folks. To be fair, it would be kind of cool to have a park like Jurassic Park. Yes, it would, but I would not bring back something where the atmosphere was radically different. Folks, the oxygen content on Earth 65 million years ago was 400 times more potent than what we know today. The air quality is so much oxygen that you would be dead. Yes, we need oxygen. Our bodies couldn't handle that much. We wouldn't be able to expel the right amounts of carbon dioxide from our systems. We'd be getting too much oxygen. So imagine bringing an animal that requires that much oxygen to today's world, where it's dealing with a 400% decrease. These things would be asthmatic. So yeah, it doesn't work. So yeah, it would be cool, sure, but you would have to genetically sequence these things to be able to handle less amounts of oxygen. Which that would mean that you would have to shrink the size of them. So it wouldn't work. So yeah, we then learn that Hammond wants to do a hard reset, and Arnold doesn't, Samuel L. Jackson, because they've never shut off all the systems before, because this is the only way to undo the damage that Nedry has done, because Nedry was too good at covering his tracks. Well, they then ask, what about the lysine contingency? And the lysine contingency was put on in case the animals ever got off the island. All the dinosaurs in Jurassic Park are unable to produce the amino acid lysine. Unless they are supplied by lysine directly by us, they slip into a coma and die. So they're lysine deficient. So Hammond doesn't want to enact the lysine contingency unless at the end of all else and whatnot. And a lot of people actually ask about the lysine contingency in the second one, but it's actually explained in the fucking movie if people decide to watch it. You know? So, we then get the reset, and it works, and while Arnold has to go out and flip some circuit breakers, everybody else decides to go further into the compound to get away from any potential damage or danger. So I like that Jurassic Park and The Lost World portrays the dinosaurs as actually animals rather than movie monsters. Exactly. That is something that is also very interesting or very good to notice, except for those carnivorous little fucking compies. So then we get the Gallimimus chase, which is, oh my god, I remember seeing the special effects features where they had freaking head things with what's that damn sport? Lacrosse sticks attached to their heads where they're trying to catch balls and stuff. And they matched the Gallimimuses to run around them. Now, folks, the Gallimimus is actually, or the Gallimimus's bird descendant is an ostrich. or an emu. So, yeah. The Gallimimus then get caught by the T-Rex, and I love that. It's like, look how much blood. Bet you'll never look at birds the same way again. Look how it eats. I want to go now. Lexi's freaking out, and Tim is just fucking fascinated, man. I love it. It's like, look how much blood, Timmy. Let's go. So then Ellie and Muldoon notice that Tom Arnold's taking forever, and so they have to. They have a nice little moment where where Hammond's like, well, I should really be the one to go. And it's like, why? Well, because I'm and you're a, look, we could discuss sexism when we get back. And it's like, freaking, I'm thinking to myself, he's not being sexist, you son of a bitch, or you freaking bitch. He's actually being quite chivalrous. He, a person who is older, who is, well, not real, or not, it's not just a matter of him being a man, you being a woman. It's the fact that he's willing to do it, even though he walks with a cane. So, I'd actually applaud Hammond for saying that he would rather go. And it's like, well, I am responsible for this place. I would rather go. But yeah, they turn it into a whole sexism thing, which was kind of stupid. So then I'm reading the talking points over here, folks. Muldoon and Ellie go out, and they realize they're being hunted because the raptors have escaped because the entire shutdown caused the circuit breakers for the raptor fence to go offline. The raptors' fences, folks, were the only fences to still remain on during Nedry's hack. And Muldoon even says it. He's like, the power or the shutdown must have turned off all the fences. Damn it, even Nedry knew not to mess with the raptor fences. So she makes it into the compound to flip the circuit breakers back on, and she gets out, and then they cut back to Muldoon hunting the females, or hunting the raptors. And he has one in his sight. He pulls back the shoulder mount for the shotgun, and he's ready to shoot it. Except it's like, yeah, you didn't know how they hunt, did you? Female comes out right here. Clever girl. And we notice that Muldoon is now dead. So if you read the book, it's interesting how Muldoon is more so the main character than Dr. Grant. Isn't that interesting? So then, during the sequence where Ellie's turning or flipping the breakers back on, Grant and Lexi and Timmy are getting over the electric fences. And Timmy is too afraid to let go, so he ends up getting 10,000 volts sent through his body. And he ends up having to be revived through CPR by Grant. And he finishes his count because he's like, I'm going to count 3, 1, 2, boom! He gets shocked to shit. And I got to say, man, it's like, oh, damn. When you see him fly off that fence, it's like, holy shit! Because the thing is, folks, when you have a traumatic pain go through your hand, what is your first reaction? To grip. Or so Timmy kind of flying off the fence like that was kind of weird, because you see Grant do a nice little joke on the kids where he's like, ah! And he fakes it and scares the hell out of the kids. That's not funny. That was great. Finally, internet came back up. Hey, sorry about the internet coming down, dude. Wish it stayed up for you. But hey, welcome back, MB. Good to see you. So, the power's back on. And I also love the scare where Ellie's celebrating. It's like, I think we're back in business. Suddenly, the fucking raptor just comes through. And it's like, God damn. I would have been freaking out too, man. And I don't know where she twisted her ankle, but apparently she twisted her ankle from the scare. And so she's limping. And she runs into Mr. Arnold's arm, which was funny as hell too. It's like, oh, Mr. Arnold. Oh, my God. It was kind of freaking hilarious, too. And so when everybody's back in the thing or in the visitor center, the kids end up having or just start snacking while Grant goes out to look for Ellie. And he finds her, and, well, velociraptors have entered the visitor center. So we get the nice kitchen sequence. Folks, that kitchen sequence has been done so many damn times. Even, I believe, Corridor Crew actually did an improvement on the scenes. Now, folks, when I was younger and my imagination ran less wild than I did, or than it does now, because I'm an adult, it runs even wilder. I could have sworn that when the thing was looking for the kids, when the raptor was looking for the kids, one of its roars almost sounded like it was saying Tim. And I absolutely love the how these things are extremely smart. However, they don't or they fall for the mirror gag, which was pretty cool. SLJ eaten by a shark, raptor killed by Kong, and as far as death goes, he has a unique record, right? Fucking right. Where Bill Paxton, God rest him, Terminator, Alien, Predator, dude. Sam L. Jackson, dude. Shark, Raptor, Kong. Holy shit. Die, you motherfuck you. It's so great. Samuel L. Jackson, dude. Great actor. He kind of been stupid recently in real life, though. So we then get them trying, or the people are trying to hack into the park, get the power back on, except the door locks aren't working, and raptors know how to open doors. And the kids are scared out of their minds and whatnot. And so Lexi hacks into the park, gets the door locks to work. Yep, Bill Paxton got the trifecta. Now, so it's like, Mr. Hammond, the phones are working. Are the kids all right? Kids are fine. Call the mainland. Tell them to send the choppers. Now, folks, you see the raptor, or you hear that the raptor bangs inside, and she says it's going to come through the glass, and fucking Alan shooting at the glass with a shotgun. What possessed you to do that, Alan? I mean, I get that you're trying to scare the raptors away, but these things are hungry right now. So you weaken the glass to let it bust through on its own. There are flaws, folks. As much as I love this movie, there are flaws. From an objective standpoint, you would not shoot glass that is very thick and weaken its integrity when something else is trying to break through it. Just saying. So they end up getting into the main visitor center, having to come down through the grates, and some of the raptors are waiting for them, including the big female. So, yeah. The big female is the one that gets killed at the last moment by the T-Rex because the raptors actually finally corner him. And that's when Rexy comes into the visitor center. I don't know how Rexy got into the visitor center because the doors were not that big. Well, maybe they may have been big enough for Rexy to get in. I don't know. But all I'm saying is that Rexy got in there, and I absolutely love when Rexy kills the last raptor, the big female, and throws it against the dinosaur bones and then turns around giving its victory roar. And then you see the thing, when dinosaurs ruled the world, come down. It is just pure freaking hilarity, folks. Also, Timmy has the most traumatic experiences in this movie. He has been shocked by 10,000 volts of electricity. This kid has fallen over a chasm in a car and nearly gotten eaten by a dinosaur, so this kid's going to have therapy for the rest of his fucking life. Not only that, he nearly got crushed to death by bones in the visitor center when the things came down, and he's screaming and he goes like this, but they don't cover him. So yeah, this kid is going to be like the most freaking traumatized kid in the world. I mean, when you see him in The Lost World, which is like, I think like 3 years later, he's absolutely fine. So it's like, how are you that good right now? You know, it makes one wonder. So they finally get out, and I love what Grant has to say. He's like, after careful consideration, I've decided not to endorse your park. And Hammond's like, so have I. He's basically writing it off as a loss, dude. He's basically gonna take InGen bankrupt because, well, a lot of shit happened. And then we get the nice little end where they escape. And I love how Grant goes up to Hammond, and he touches him, and it scares the hell out of him, and he's like, oh my God. It's a nice little scare right there. And so you see a nice bird flying out where he's realizing, well, these monsters that we just left behind, thank God they turned into this thing. And you get the nice little, you get the credits and whatnot. And that's the end of the film. Folks, objectively speaking, without bias, Jurassic Park is around a 7.5. You have great sequences and great animatronics, great effects, great acting. You got good writing, not great writing, good writing. However, there are some logic issues that just don't make sense. I mean, they didn't explain how the T-Rex got into there. I mean, it's great that T-Rex was there. You have extreme problem-solving intelligent raptors. You got actors making bad decisions in this movie. So, yeah, it doesn't make... There's a few things that just stupid decisions, you know? However, subjectively, Jurassic Park is up there. About a 9 out of 10. Some of these decisions are like, are you out of your fucking mind? Are you really this stupid? But you know what? It works. And one of the things that they did really well was the digital effects. However, in some other digital effects, it's not as good. You had unbalanced CGI. However, again, the effects for the T-Rex in the T-Rex introduction, friggin' phenomenally beautiful for 30 years old today. Anyway, that is going to be the review. Moviegoer, before I go for any further. Moviegoer, it's 10 out of 10. Great pace, great action, great movie. It's all good. The hints for next week. A future predicted. It's a 90s movie where the future is predicted and executed with insane amounts of accuracy. Do not give it away in the comment section, though. So, anyway, folks, thank you so much for tuning in. Neozoic, Junebug, NB Geeks, Kristen Freites, Vanya, Neozoic, I believe I already said that. Stieg, thank you for coming in. Ruben Thomas Official, good to see you. And thank you for stopping in. Who else? Davian Donaldson, Dadman Walking 55, thank you for coming in, both of you. Who else? I believe that is everyone. Anyway, folks, thank you so much for tuning in. Stay tuned for tonight. I will be on the Barroom Podcast with Jacob from Society Reviews, where we're going to be talking some insane Hollywood stuff. Tomorrow, I will be on the Ones and Twos with Mara, where we're talking Jaws 2 on Jade Shadow's channel. It's going to be 8 p.m. And Thursday, I have a new stream coming out at 8 p.m. where Mara does the Ones and Twos, I do the singles. So we will be discussing in detail Big Trouble in Little China. And I will be bringing some behind-the-scenes stuff for that discussion, folks, because it is great. I can't wait to discuss Jaws 2. I'm going to actually go and watch that after I get off of here. You all are amazing and beautiful and great people. The hint, again, NB Geeks, the hints for next week is a future predicted. So yes, a movie that predicted the future. You know what movie I'm talking about because you've asked me to do it. Just don't give it away. But thank you all so much for tuning in. Have a wonderful day, folks, and always remember to stay humble. And it doesn't want to, oh crap, end the broadcast. I have to re-log in. Give me a second, folks. Holy crap. Oh my God. This is Boo! I'm back. Now I can end the broadcast because clearing the cache signed me out. Have a good one, folks.